Welcome to the Launch Author Reveal, a talk show where we go between the pages of the book, behind the words, and right into the heart of the author who penned them for the intimate reveal of the book's backstory. Book lovers get great reads and giveaways, and authors get revealed during Q&A. Now, here's the Launch Author Reveal host, Michelle Chudy.
Hi, this is Michelle Chudy. I am the host of the Launch Author Reveal. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so glad you guys could join us today. We are working on trying to get this to live stream on Facebook. So I'm just trying to make sure that everything is working the way that it's supposed to. So I apologize for the delay of coming on here. But I just want to say I'm so glad to have you all join today. I am here to bring you guys into the backstory of great books, great reads, meet the author, and do all sorts of fun stuff along the way. So today we're going to have a fantastic reveal with a wonderful, wonderful author. And I've had the privilege of being with her on this journey of watching her hit #1 bestseller status within the last week. She just launched her first book, and I am so happy to be doing this reveal with Kim Thomas, and I want to introduce her to you. But before we do that, I just wanted to let you know what this show is all about. This is a chance for you as a book lover to come in and not only meet the author, but also get your hands on great reads, because if you're like me, you're a voracious reader and you just love, great books. So, this is something that, we wanted to do in order to bring people in to get, great material, but also into a position of having you to get your hands on, great downloads, giveaways, and everything else that goes on. So let me go ahead and tell you about this person that we're going to be talking to today. And let's see if I can go ahead and let you know how amazing Kim actually is, because I think you're going to fall in love with her just like I did. So Kim is a professionally trained teacher, and she's a public speaker. She's a strategic coach, and she's also focusing as a coach as a retiree specialist, because, she's also a retiree, and she's also starting another phase of her life. So she is the author of Me, Myself, and You. And again, I told you it hit #1 bestseller status, not just in one area, but in 4 categories on Amazon. She brings her expertise to bear as she teaches people how to create harmonious relationships with irritating people. Don't we all need this book? So just when you think that you have it all going on and you can't deal with somebody else, this book's going to help you. So, Kim has had her entire life where she's taken information that she's brought into her studies. She's traveled the world for over 40 years as a human behavioral researcher. She began an adventurous, inquisitive life at the age of 20, where she was living and traveling alone in Western Europe. She was there for 9 months. And then she brings all that information from her travels and her professional endeavors into this book, where she actually applies that to help you to learn how to connect with other people and bring your differences into a power play, so you find that great relationship with even the people that you think that you don't fit with. So that being said, I want to introduce you to this lovely lady. Let me go ahead and bring her on. I'm going to start her video here and ask her to come in. And there she is. Kim, welcome. How are you?
I'm wonderful. I love the way you put that, that we bring people together in their differences. That's exactly the way it is. So it's wonderful.
Yes. Tell me about yourself. Your bio is pretty impressive. So tell me a little bit more that what's not mentioned that I actually said that you want people to know about.
Oh, okay. Well, I grew up on a farm, reared my children on a farm. I have 4 children, 3 girls and a boy. I wanted 10 boys, and the Lord just saw differently. And I love my girls and my boy. They're wonderful. So I've got them. They're up and doing well, and placed all over the United States. And they've supported me and loved me and listened to me talk about my dreams for years and years and years. And so now they've all got a thumbs up for me as I'm doing what I've always wanted to do, and that is just to teach people the things that I'm learning along the way. And so this is a learning experience for all of us. Mm-hmm.
So you wanted to have how many boys?
I wanted 10 boys. I grew up with my brother. I only had one brother, and he and I were best friends. So
wow,
I always wanted boys. Uh-huh.
Wow, yep. That's amazing. I don't know if I could handle 10 boys. Although I have 2 daughters, as you know, and I was thinking about this since I am such a girl mom, which I never thought I would be. I thought my husband and I were too. I used to say I had too much testosterone, that I would never be able to have girls if I had children. But my 2 are very girly, and I am always like walking in the middle of like glitter and sparkle. And since my daughter, my oldest one, now owns a jewelry business, I'm now finding like literally like real bling, like this bling, like all over my house. So, I don't think guys would fare well. As a matter of fact, my husband probably wishes that there wasn't so much glitter that he's wearing and sparkling with. But anyway, so
my son does not like glitter and sparkle. He's all, like browns and things. So when we go to visit him at Christmas, all of us girls make sure we wear all the glitter and sparkle we can.
That is so funny. Yeah. That is so funny. One of the things that I love about you is that you are so real. That you are in a situation where no matter where you are and how you present yourself, that you're so authentic. And, I want to get down into the meat of your book, because you all know that if you're watching this, that you're here because we're doing an author reveal. And I want people to understand, not only are you getting a great book, I want you to get to the heart of the author and to find out about the person who actually penned the words on paper that have not only fed you, words to the soul and, motivated you to change or just, to enjoy whatever it is that you're reading. I want you to fall in love with the people that have written the books. And Kim is one of those that once you meet her, you can't help but love her. Mm. And so this is something that I want them to know about you and this wonderful book that you wrote. Congratulations on your #1 bestseller status.
Thank you.
I mean, that's exciting.
Oh my goodness. We were on the phone at the time that I saw the #1 hit, and I was just screaming. I couldn't imagine in my life that I could get to do that. So
I think that's fantastic. That's nothing like, spur of the moment, spontaneous praise, enthusiasm, making up my own words here. Enthusiastic response, enthusiasm. I will actually say it. So let me capture that, because you're fresh into like the bestseller. What was that like when you hit that?
Marvelous. I actually have been now for 4 months just completely consumed with this book, because a lot of times I'm the type of person that will start a project but not finish it a lot of times. This one I had to finish because I knew it was from God. So I said, I've got to finish this. So I literally just took people away and said, I'm not going to talk until 11 a.m. in the morning. So I'm busy writing, and it's been 4 months of that. And it's wonderful to be able to complete it and see it really go all the way through to the end and get that word out there. So it was amazing.
When you actually saw the numbers, what did that feel like?
Just crazy good. Just crazy good. I just couldn't believe it, really. I didn't think I would make it, really. And
oh, really?
I really didn't. No. And obviously I didn't think I'd make it. I thought if people read my book, they wouldn't like me anymore, for one thing, because I'm so real in it. It's like what I really, really think. And a lot of people, I listen to a lot of people. Most of my life, I just ask questions and listen to them. Very few people ask me what I think. And so I haven't said that. And so I started to talk about what I really, really think about how we should be together. And I was afraid that people wouldn't like me. And now I've gotten a whole bunch of emails and calls about how much people loved it, and it just surprises me. It surprises me that they understand it, because it's kind of deep,
That's awesome. So that being said, you tell me about your book. How would you summarize it? Because, I gave a little intro about, what it's actually about, as far as, dealing with irritating people. But you tell me, how would you summarize your book, Me, Myself, and You?
Well, for me, in writing it, it was more or less a story about myself, because I started out, I'm a very, very strong personality. And when I took a temperament test years and years ago, it was by Tim LaHaye, taught me spirit-filled temperament. At the time, I was Gestapo type. I don't mean to be too derogatory, but I mean, like, yeah, isn't that the truth? It's like, do it my way and do it yesterday. So that's kind of the type of person I am. And I'm impatient with microwaves, they're just too dang slow for me. So this has been and still is a trip for me. Also, I'm very judgmental, and I'm not talking about prejudice, black and white prejudice or Oriental prejudice or Spanish. I'm not talking about that. That's so surface. That's not the heart of things. And so for me, it was a reveal of my life and how I'm learning to become interested and inquisitive differences and really look for the God within people, or the source of whoever. Most everybody believes in some higher power, and I'm looking for that inside people. So I hope that answered your question.
No, I think that's great, because you actually tapped into some of the things that I wanted to talk to you today about your reveal. Because when you were writing Me, Myself, and You, you're so transparent, and that's what I absolutely love about this. This book, if you guys have not gotten a chance to get your hands on it, Kim's doing something great today. She is literally offering it for free for the next couple of days. So that's one of the blessings for catching her on the launch reveal today, that you not only get to hear her and see her amazing, backstory and meet her and find out how great she is, that you also get blessed for a free download of this book. So that being said, Kim, this book, when I was looking at it and just, letting it kind of minister to me, I was floored by how similar we are. You were talking in the beginning about how your life was shaped by the people in your life, and you encourage people to, come into looking at themselves, and how, they see things. You said you're judgmental, and that you have come a long way as far as like with your patience level, and seeing that, that you thought there was a lot of things wrong with you until you came to realize that it's just who you are. And then you embrace that. I thought that was amazing, because this book seemed to me, it wasn't a coming of age, it was a coming into you.
Yes, that's exactly right. You're so true. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So is that how you felt? I mean, you said you were 67 years old before you realized that you didn't know who you were. That's a lot of journeying on this life to realize that you really had no idea who you were.
That's true, because see, all of my life, I've traveled all over the world, and I've learned to ask the questions that I wish were asked of me. And that's, what's God's dream for you? That's my basic question. I've asked it all over the world and only been rejected twice. One atheist and one person thought I was trying to push religion, and I'm not. I'm just like, okay, why are you here? What? 85% at least of the people that I interviewed have no idea. We're talking, I'm living 60 years, some are 40, some are 20, but they're living all these years and they have no idea why they're here. They're just here. And for those of us who are mothers or fathers or whatever obligations we have, we spend most of our life just going from thing to thing to thing, trying to cross all the T's and dot all the I's in our lives. And we don't have time to sit down and think. So this became an introspection, which I had been taught was bad. It's all self-centered. No, it's not. It's not self-centered to begin to celebrate who I am, because the more confident I am with myself, then the more I can love you. I can let you be who you are, because now I'm not trying to get on your stage. I'm not trying to be who you are. I'm very confident that I'm good at this and this. Two things, actually. 98% of the things I'm not so good at, but these two things I am, and I know what they are. And so now you can be who you are, I can be who I am, and that's how it grows.
That's fantastic. You know, you just touched on something that I think is almost like a lie that most people buy into, because there is almost like a self-debasing type of mentality that if you are pursuing things of self, and not necessarily to raise yourself up or to be, you know, that false humility, but to truly, like, you know, identify who you are, people tend to, you know, bypass that journey.
That's true.
Because, you know, they're taught that it's selfish. They're taught that it's, you know, narcissistic, you know. Dig a little bit more into that and let people know about what you found, because, you know, like I said, 67 is a lot of years to journey about, you know, not knowing who you are. And that's not to say that you're in a position of being, you know, you're not old by any shape or form, but it's just like, you know, I'm 50 and it took me until I was 40 to really start pursuing who I am. It's almost like that that statement that when you realize that you're climbing a ladder of success and you're climbing really hard and fast, only to realize that your ladder's on the wrong building. So,
isn't that true? Oh my goodness, how many of us are doing that? And I kind of wear that as a badge of honor with the 67 years old, because it's been my desire to help other people see how blessed they are and how they're. The way I see it, I'm designed by God himself, or by source, or by universe, or whatever you want to call it, but some kind of power designed me from the very beginning for a reason. And I'm supposed to be connecting to people, filling that reason out. Well, if I don't know who I am, how can I connect? So where I'm going with this is digging down in there. Everybody needs to find out who they are. Once they are, it's kind of like a puzzle piece, and that's why I have a puzzle on the front cover, because let's pretend that someone's telling you, which happened in my life, you're too loud, you're too pushy, you're too this, and you're too that. They wanted me to cut pieces of my puzzle piece off and become like them, because they weren't, and so they thought I was wrong. And it's that judgment of, if you're not like me, then you got to be wrong. And that right and wrong is not correct. That's not the way we need to live life. We're all designed for a purpose. And what I found out was I was just hanging with the wrong people. Those people wanted me to be more like them. And no, I'm not. And as I get around you and other people that are like me, I'm seeing, oh my gosh, these people understand me. In fact, I'm not forceful enough. You know, I gotta hone up my skills here. So I believe that about everybody. If you're a quiet person, then know that you have a gift inside of you. If you're an analytical person, know you have a gift that you can give to other people, and hone it. Take it out, polish it, study it, and be proud of who you are. And once you're proud enough of who you are, and I'm not talking about arrogance, I'm not talking about looking down on other people. And that's the key. That's the reason why I wrote this book, because you can't connect with other people unless you accept them. So think again about my puzzle piece. Now I'm fully who I am, but if I'm so arrogant I won't hook up with anybody else, that's not going to work either. So I had to learn, no, you've got to honor other people, honor yourself first, and then honor other people. Then you can find their strengths and connect. And
that's interesting, because that reminds me that you can't love others well until you learn to love yourself, that you're going to be in that type of dysfunction until you actually are able to embrace who you actually are and everything about you. And I want to ask you this, and just, you know, shout out to everyone who's watching. You know, again, this is the Launch Author Reveal, and this is author Kim Thomas, and we're going into her backstory about her #1 best-selling book that she just released, Me, Myself, and You. And we're digging into why she wrote it and just how amazing she actually is. And of course, she's giving it away for free for the next 2 days. She's so generous. So I'm going to give you a link so you can actually go in and download that. But it's on Amazon. And anyway, it's an amazing book. Short read, but very powerful. So if you're just joining in now, I just want to bring you guys back into where we're at and who we're talking with. And so I want to ask you a question about everything that you just said, Kim. Mm-hmm. And before I do, I just want to give a shout out for those that are watching via webinar. I see Larry's in here, and then we also have Carla coming in from North Carolina.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then Larry, good to see you back in on the launch again. So thanks for posting in chat. So if you guys are watching via webinar, love the fact that you guys are engaging. Give us a shout out in chat. Let us know that you're in here, and then also where you're signing in from. This is like the little geek in me that I like to see where we're connecting across the world. And I love the fact that technology is, bringing us all together. So that being said, and Larry, feel free to add into this too, because it looks like your male representation in the house. But
Good
Kim,
one.
as you were saying that you're finding that most people don't take the time to get to know themselves and embrace who they are. And, people are trying to cut off ends of your, you got a hi in here from Christina, by the way, from Wilson, North Carolina. So I'm going to give a shout out that I'm moderating. So Kim's not supposed to be watching the comments, but I'm going to let you know that
Not to.
I saw you. So now, as far as with your research, being the expert that you are you noticing, is there similarities between men and women, or is this more a female type of thing, or is it a male identity based thing, or is just everyone? They just don't take the time to know.
Right. And I find it with both. Now, I work with a lot of CEOs and business owners. They've spent their whole life working on making themselves successful so that they can provide for their families. So once they retire, it's like, oh my gosh, I have a friend of a friend telling me one of his CEO buddies retired, and the year before he was invited to 50 Christmas parties. The year after he retired, he was invited to 2. One of them was his. And it's like, you're nobody anymore. So who are you? Because you haven't even had time to think about it. I've had friends who are women who have retired, or their children, or the empty nest syndrome. And I ask them, well, what are you going to do? I have no idea. They're 50 years old, have no idea who they are, what they're going to do. They almost become angry because it's a question that is hard to answer, and it takes a bit to dig into. And I want to say, I was talking about how hard and domineering and everything that I was. That you don't keep that attitude once you begin to dig in who you are, because then there are other people that are just as good as you are in other areas. But then you've also got to have your source, or your light, your God in you to help hone your skills of being kind and good. And anything kind and good you see out of me is actually coming from Jesus himself. Because, man, I have to tone it down a whole bunch. I mean tone the arrogance of judging other people down a lot, because that's just who I am. And so.
Well, it's that commander personality type, and I completely get that, having having the same challenges myself. And it's not that you mean anything by it. No. I think that we should just see things directly, and it also has a tendency to go with our giftings as well. So there's nothing wrong with that at all. We just need to, like anyone, learn to how to refine our strengths, right, and also acquiesce our weaknesses. So we have a comment in here from Larry. So just want to go ahead and let you guys know that I am actually watching your comments. So if you're on via webinar, please go ahead and engage via, Q&A, and then also in chat, because I am literally, we're talking to y'all just like we're talking to each other. So this is what I love, love, love about this. Mm-hmm. So Larry said that he's coming in from Virginia, by the way. And I also see Nancy's in here from Colorado. Hey, Nancy. So Larry says, yeah, sometimes it's really tough, but he's thanking God that you're able to reveal some of the things that some other people, so they can grow. So, obviously it's not just with women, it's with men as well. And so Kim, you actually said something that kind of like, touched you right here. Actually, I've done that multiple times. I've had that identity crossroads before. I was very career oriented and, had no desire to have children for the longest time. So I was old when I started with my first, and when I was really old when I had my second one. So it's just funny how things just kind of worked out, because when I got pregnant with Hayden, it was one of those things. Mark and I had made a pact like early on in our relationship, if we ever were to have children, which it was never guaranteed, that one of us would stay at home. And he was on active duty at the time. So I'm just like, well, I guess it's me that's going to have to lay down my career. And so I did, and I became a stay-at-home mom. And that was something that I had loathed up until that point, which was sad because sometimes you dislike things that you don't know, that lack of familiarity. And so long story short, as I'm with myself and I'm pregnant and I have a newborn and I didn't have a title, I didn't have a paycheck.
Right.
I didn't have an office. I didn't have a staff. And Mark's just like, I just needed somebody to boss around because, commander personality type, right? It's like I was struggling. I truly didn't know who I was without all those things to hide behind. So do you think that those are just kind of like, different facades that we just kind of like, lay upon ourselves that we have to like bust down to get to who we are?
Yes, I do. I really think that, you got to get alone with yourself and get inside. That's why I started with my dad's story in the book, because the heritage comes through our genealogy, through just I've heard it. Well, we'll talk about that another time, but how much it takes just to get you here as a human being. So you're here, but you don't know who you are. So you study your genealogy, you study. I do a lot of coaching, and I help people just begin to uncover through very simple little exercises, but ones that I have them focus on, begin to see who they really are. What is it they really like? And what do they really want to do? What are their giftings? And once you know that, I've heard it said before, and I think it's very, very true, if you begin to focus on yourself and your couple's strengths, you won't be so busy focusing on everybody else and what they're not doing right and who's doing what and, all the calamities in the world. Just focus on yourself, do what you can do, and out of that will flow a purpose, which will cause you now to want to do exercise, to want to eat right, to want to treat other people right, because you're no longer struggling inside yourself. It's very clear. And so I look for a couple strengths in each person that I know. Where are they good? Let's complement those. Let's work on those and develop those strengths.
Okay, so that being said, you know me, just so you guys understand my relationship with Kim. I'm a success coach. I'm also a marketing mentor. And I actually have clients that come in through a coaching relationship, and that's how Kim and I actually met. And so that being said, I've gotten to know Kim through coaching her as she is building out her brand as an author, but also Kim is also a retiree coach. She is someone who is passionate about helping people transition into retirement with excellence, so you don't have to go through the struggles that she's went through, that identity crisis, and so she can help you not just re-identify yourself, but recalibrate, because it's not a matter of re-identifying. It's basically getting to the root of who you actually are. And she does that beautifully, because one of the things I've seen about her is that she's so gracious about using her discernment and going in and grabbing the jewels out of you and then helping you to embrace those and, wear them. You sport those things that you actually have been given, which are amazing, and just go from there. So that being said, Kim, I know that I'm not quite retiree age, although I've sort of retired because I'm out on my own now doing my own thing. I've left corporate. I've actually reinvented myself a few times, or actually God has. I've let him mold me, and I've cried along the way, just to be transparent. There's times he's molded me and I was screaming. But what would you say my two strengths are?
Michelle, you fascinate me. Of course, you're #1 bestseller yourself, so you have a real heart for authors. She's got gorgeous books out, and The House of Me, and the other one is The Baron, is it?
Song of the Baron, yeah, that's my latest one. I released that this past March.
Right, and so those two books, so she has a heart for, and what I was fascinated when you sent me interview questions with how you can dig into a person, because people would talk all day long about the weather, the sports, whatever, where do you live, what do you do, that kind of stuff. Let's go in the heart. I have dug so deeply into people, like within 5 minutes, they'll be crying and they'll be saying, I've never told anybody this, but I'm going to tell you, and you have that ability to bring people's hearts out. And that's what we all want. We just want someone to hold us, to love us, not necessarily physically, although that's wonderful, but someone that just holds our heart for us and says, this is beautiful.
That is so sweet. And the great thing is that the healing that God has worked in my life is that I no longer try to eat the hearts that I'm like pulling out.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, that's part of like, coming along in the journey is that, I could be pretty scrappy. But so let me grab a comment in here, because Carla says she's so excited about your book and this webinar that so many people are going to be helped because you pressed through and you were obedient. Oh yeah, and that's the truth. So thankful for Kim and these wisdom keys that she's releasing, and it's the Lord's immaculate timing. So, that being said, Kim, this is your first book, and I put out 3 books thus far. And that's something that I will tell you, that anyone has taken the time to write a book, it is not normally a quick turn journey. So if you have personalities like ours, that we like the once and dones and we like to move quickly, writing is not part of our personality makeup. So you persevered. What was that like as you were taking the time to pen your first book?
Well, it was amazing, because I'm a disciplined person in a lot of ways, but I start projects, like I said before, and I don't finish them. This one I knew I had to, so I turned my phone off at 7:00 at night and just quit talking to people, because I had to. And as I did, I was able to get up really early in the morning before the texting started and the phone started ringing, before anybody needed me, and I would write. It was, once Darren Hardy teaches us that we've got to get an hour and a half of focused energy into something in order to do something about it. So I grab my cup of coffee, go and sit in my little garage office. I've got a really neat situation where I can just sit and relax with a cup of coffee and start digging into writing. But I had to do that day after day, week after week, to get it together. And
Gotcha.
it was fascinating. It was just a story inside.
Well, that's something that I think is important to call out, because in your book, Me, Myself, and You, which is all about, finding out who you are and also embracing the differences of others, and not to come against, but also to celebrate, because, we're made uniquely for a reason. But what you just said is that you had to be disciplined in your approach. And we just, said that with us both being naturally impatient people, that we need to go in and do things in a way that's contrary to our natural self. So even though you're figuring out who you are and the root of who you are, it doesn't give you permission just to lay into that area of those 2 strengths, that you still have to exercise certain character traits in order to come to the fullness of all that you can be. Is that an accurate statement?
Oh, wonderfully said. Beautifully, Michelle.
I'm glad it's recorded, because I probably won't be able to say it twice.
And we'll record it, and then I'll say it back to you, and you'll say it back to me, because we'll coach each other.
Exactly.
Yes. My oldest daughter coaches me a lot, and she always says, Mom, that's another shiny object. Stop chasing it. Come back and focus. And gotta focus.
So let me ask you something about this, just because this actually touched my heart as I was reading the first part of your book. In particular, I was a daddy's girl, and that was something that I noticed. Obviously, you were too. Yes. Tell me about how your father actually shaped you in this book.
Amazing to me, because Daddy had one serious conversation with me that I can remember. Most of the time we worked for him. We had a big farm, lots of animals. He built white fences, and we painted the white fences for him. He never talked to us. Daddy was, Mother said when she was older and he was gone, she would say that he was full of a lot of anger, and he was afraid he would hurt us. So he would have her discipline us. But he was a wonderful man. So I most probably had the same temperament as he did. but he was very, very visionary. He ran 4 corporations. He was always pushing forward to help us and to take care of us. And at the same time, like we're talking discipline, he would get up at 5 every morning, and Mother said that he would say, if it weren't for the children, I wouldn't get up, you know. So he had to discipline himself to do what he needed to do to accomplish. I loved him. When he died, I cried, but I was happy at the same time. Now that sounds weird, but I knew that even he never asked me any questions about myself. He just observed me. So I thought, he's in heaven now. He can really see who I am. So
That's wow. That's powerful. You know, my dad actually passed when I was 23.
oh,
And so, you know, I lost him early in life. However, he did a lot of shaping of my personality as well. And one of the things that I took from your book, and tell me if I'm on or off about this, but it's almost like your father's personality gave you your boundaries of where you tried to originally grow into. That you were trying to honor him by being very similar. Obviously, you're an entrepreneur yourself. You have multiple businesses. You're a retiree coach. You know, you're a best-selling author. That there's so many things that you have done, and nutritionist too, right? Isn't that something? So many things. You know, very gifted and skilled, passionate woman, world traveler. But you know, where was the point that you realized that your dad's boundaries were too small for you, or maybe they weren't necessarily yours?
Exactly. Because see, he was the platform on which I launched. And that's so important to know, because your parents can only take you so far. It's like to be on the edge of that diving board now. Now jump off, because he's got me already on the diving board. So now I dive into. So when I was 10 years old, I was driving the lawnmower and got a vision, which I'm still accomplishing today. But I had it, but I still couldn't separate from him for a long time, until I really dug in and realized I'm different. I'm going further. He set the vision. The business is up for me, the business mind and that attitude. And now I've got to take it to honor him. I went back to my maiden name now is Thomas, actually, because it's an honor to him and what he's given me in my life.
Wow. So, you know, that's amazing. Obviously, you know, Daddy's girls here. Larry has commented, he said, this will help all military spouses that have to take on the total household responsibility. Been there, done that, Larry. You know, I am a retired Army reservist, 22 years, and my husband was active duty for 12 years, and completely get that. And of course, what people don't realize with military spouses is that typically when the active duty person goes away, something breaks, like significant, like water heaters and all this other stuff. So just goofy things go wrong. But Larry said that this is releasing them from, you know, the not knowing to total strength within themselves, gives the entire family to live with direction and purpose, less stress inside and out. Amen, Larry. Great point. Just validating what you said, Kim. So, okay, let me just take this back to, as we're getting close to, you know, not quite an hour, but I want to give you guys time for Q&A. If you have questions for Kim, please pop them into the chat or put them into the Q&A, and I will bring them up and I will moderate them for you. And most definitely, you know, make sure that you go in and download her book if you haven't gone in there so far to do so. It is actually available for free for the next 2 days. And it's on Amazon. And let me just go ahead and share this real quickly before we get into the Q&A, Kim.
Okay.
So I want people to actually be able to see what that actually is and how amazing it looks. Look at this beautiful cover and how she's connecting those puzzle pieces. So me, myself, and you, discovering your strengths and connecting you. That is the title of Kim Thomas's best-selling book. It just released last week, and it hit #1 in 4 categories on Amazon, and it is still out there and available. And she was so gracious to come on for this, the launch author reveal, and offer it again for free for 2 days only. So I want you guys to go ahead and go in and grab that book. And the way that you can go in and get it, the URL is https://AMZ as in zebra N 2JLFLRH. All right. I wanted to spell that out because for those that will be listening on podcasts, they'll want to hear it because they won't be able to see it. So again, that is available on Amazon, and you can grab that. And of course, if you miss the free download, it is still a blessing to grab it. And yes, Christina, I am planning on putting an audio version. This will be a podcast. This show was growing faster than I'm able to keep up with. So, yeah. But anyway, it's rolling out, and yes, there will definitely be a podcast version of the Launch Author Reveal. And again, yeah, sure, Carla, I can repeat the link is https://AMZ as in zebra n.to/2JLFLRH. Okay. And question for you, Kim.
Yes.
Will this be an audio? Are you going to do an audio version of your book?
Audios. I'm on Audible and I have a whole library. So I know it's got to go to audio. Actually, we don't have the paper version, and I'm hoping to have that out by Christmas.
Perfect.
And,
what a Christmas gift.
Oh, it would be so much fun. And then I really want to go to audio, but it's the first in a series, which I want to say out loud, so I make myself do it. But I need to do both of them. Thank you for pushing that.
Yes, no, that's one of the things that I definitely would say with this book. For those of you that haven't read it yet, it is not only a great drill down into where you need to be. And like Kim said in the very beginning of this conversation, what's your dream? What's God's dream for your life? What's the call for you? I'm all about in my coaching practice and mentorship is, what's your purpose? Live your purpose. You don't want to come to the end of your journey to realize that you've wasted all of your years and you missed out. This life, yes, there's, trials, there's hardship, but there's great joy and there's great passion. I mean, look at me. I'm the kid that used to beg my mom to drive me to the library when I was like 7 or 8 years old and spend all my weekends reading like stacks of books. I was thinking about this morning, Kim. What a gift from God to sit with someone so beautiful inside and out like you. I get to read your book and I get to talk to you about it. And y'all, I'm like industrial strength. And like I am a tea drinker, and I'm not kidding. Bring your tea to these things or your coffee. But where else can you do this? This is a passion. I love books. I love writing. I'm an author. You're an author. You're an awesome woman. We've been brought together through another organization, but this is what this has come into.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You're all about finding that in this book, and this book will take you down that journey. Kim will drill into exercises with you. So it's not just like a reading book. It's something that you're participating. And I love that because you're asking questions that most people won't take the time to think through to help find out who they truly are.
Right. Yeah. And
so
I've done a couple interviews and I've talked to people about the book, but I can't tell you enough about how good Michelle is about promoting you, about asking the right questions, because to me, this interview has been one of, I'm finally able to say what I want to say. I'm finally able to talk about my heart, what I really want to say about, because this is a journey. It's a progression. You got, in the book, I put it elementary school, high school, and then, of course, you go for your master's, but the doctorate is when you really connect with other people. And some days I'm just an elementary kid playing around, and some days I'm going for my doctorate. We are all on a journey, and Michelle helps you dig that out and walk through it as an author. She's wonderful. If you've written a book or have a book inside of you, you've got to get her to promote you because she's just fantastic. And
so
really loves her people. Not just me, but I've watched her love for other authors also.
Yeah, we were having challenges with that on the other reveal with Billy Joe on Monday. We were having challenges saying author and everything else, and we were saying otter. So if you have to say otter, you're saying author, audio, just call it otter, and we'll all know. People that actually start watching the reveal, when we say otter, you know what we're trying to say. We're trying to say author. and it's just not coming out. So, but thank you
for
so
those
much
of you
for
that
this.
are watching my eyes, I'm going to tell you right now, I keep flipping back over because I'm supposed to be looking at Michelle's bookshelf to get eye contact with you guys. And she's sitting over here on the other side. So I'm looking, every once in a while I look over at her. So if you see my eyes darting around, it's not that I'm, but I am really just trying to stay focused here.
Yeah, we're building the airplane in flight. As Ken's been talking, I've been struggling to get the live stream up on Facebook, and the computer's not cooperating. So, right now, those of you that are in the webinar, you're the one that you're getting like sole focus here, because those on Facebook weren't supposed to see it like this. They're going to get it when we're all said and done.
That's
so
right.
That being said, Carla has written in here, Kim, she says that she's changed church families, and the current theme is super dreams, so it's parallel. That's what I love about how when we truly are doing what we're called to do, the timing is never happenstance. The fact that Carla is like, coming into super dreams, you're writing about dreaming, coming into who you are on your identity. And she said that she's recommending to some people, and that you have hope, Kim, at 60, or she has hope at 66. See, this is another thing too. Kim is maybe 67, or I don't know how old you are, it doesn't matter, but it doesn't matter what your birth certificate says. I'm a perpetual 27-year-old.
Okay.
Yeah, and the way I look at it is that you're as young as you think you are. And Moses walked to his own grave, and the Lord just told him he was going to die and start walking, and God buried him. So I'm like, hey, he walked. And as Billy Joe, she was our author that we had on Monday. She was the gatebreaker of this new reveal. We're praying for restored eyes. And so I don't have to wear these readers. I've been doing good with Kim because, those questions she mentioned earlier, I don't know if I've even asked her any of those, because we've kind of free flowed, which I love, but I've not needed these.
Yes,
So,
there you go. It's so nice just to visit, just to really visit.
Most definitely.
And
so,
when I do work with retirees, I have a whole health program, because I was getting to the point where my body was quitting, and I was saying, God, this is not right. I never lived like this, where I was getting tired. So I take them not just through the spiritual, but through the mental and also the physical, how you can rebuild your body. My body's better than it's been for years and years and years.
That's fantastic.
So don't be retiring thinking, okay, now I got to get in a rocking chair. No. It just started.
Well, and when I get to be a retiree at 125, whatever age that might be, I know that there's a point in time where you really have to take the bull by the horns and literally come to the wherewithal that the Lord has given you so much time that you need to redeem it. And he gives you the choice. That's the thing that's so great about it, is that you do have the choice about whether or not you're going to walk in it, or whether or not you're going to just waste it. So even down to taking care of our health, and that is something that I have moments where I'm really good about it, and other times not so much. And I'm back into like turning it back around as well. So I'm glad that you actually said that. Yes. So again, this is the launch author reveal, and I'm with best-selling author Kim Thomas, and we're talking about her release, which just came out on the 1st of November, and it's Me, Myself, and You, and about connecting your strengths with other people and the beauty thereof. Kim is a phenomenal person. She is skilled in so many ways, but she's focusing her efforts on coaching retirees into that transition into a greater, expression of themselves outside of corporate, outside of their work life, and to find, where they're supposed to be in this season. So if you actually need help in that transition, by all means, reach out to Kim. Get a hold of this book of hers. It's free for the next 2 days, and you can download it on Amazon. And again, grab a hold of that. And if not, it's well worth the spin if you are outside of the free giveaway. And bless somebody with it that's struggling in this area of, self-identity. You think that it's silly, trying to figure out who you are. You think that you would know, but it's so crazy how many people are running around with a false sense of identity, or trying to be something that they're not. Just because they're shaped by, people that were so strong in their life, and then they want to aspire to be like them, to find out that there's nothing in them that's like them, as Kim actually has experienced that as well as myself. So, let me see if there's any questions in here. Okay. From the folks in the house. and see if I missed anyone's comments. Say, hey, if you guys have any questions for Kim that we haven't addressed thus far, please post it in chat before we run out of time here, because we're coming up to the top of the hour, and I want to make sure that I actually have addressed all of your comments. This is your Q&A live with this lovely best-selling author. And let's see here. I love the fact that Larry called that out about the military spouses, because I have a heart for the military. You know, my husband was on active duty for 12 years.
Wow.
And, you know, we lived that transient lifestyle, and then corporate dragged us around for, you know, ever since then.
Wow.
But,
yeah, I love that. And I also love youth. I coach 11 and 13-year-olds as well. I love I love people who love life and want to do more of it. So I'm doing coaching with all of the age brackets. It's just right now I've been shocked with how many questions are unanswered, even if you've got the finances to retire. You've got 5 major questions you've got to answer, or you're going to end up very unsettled in retirement. So that being said, I love it all.
yeah, and that it's amazing how you're honing in on some pivotal ages, like that teenager age, and then also, you know, coming out into, you know, from work into retiree status. These are huge transition points. But you have a question in here from Carla Kim. She wants to know, will you be traveling in the future and speaking?
Thank you, Carla. Yes, that's my goal. I really love the stage more than anything. I ran businesses from it. I taught from it. You know, I've been on stage. Just love to do that. So my goal now is to get out and speak about this topic to whomever will accept me as a speaker. And I just love it. I love to interact with people personally. So
I don't think there's a doubt about that. I don't think you're going to have a lack of people seeking you out to speak, because you are born to be on a platform.
I love it. Yeah.
You really are. It's like you have everything about you, and you're so great about just pouring out everything. You're literally like a drink offering that's being poured out. Okay. So any more questions for Kim before we get ready to wrap up here? Okay. So I just want to thank you all for coming in. And of course, you know, keep posting your questions in here, because if there's something that we don't address live, then we'll, you know, I'll send all these questions back over to Kim so she can reach back out to you. Again, go ahead and grab a hold of a copy of her book, Me, Myself, and You. Best-selling title, best-selling author, first book, and she knocked it out of the ballpark. 4 categories, #1 on Amazon. So here's her praise clap. Praise clap. Personal question, will you, oh, Christina. Okay, so I'm going to let, Christina wants to know when you're going to be back in to Wilson, North Carolina.
I am sitting in Wilson, actually Elm City right now, Christina.
There you go.
Yes,
See?
so you call me, get a hold of me. My number is 317-281-1567. So give me a call, Christina.
There you go. And if you guys need coaching with Kim as well, reach out to her. I can tell you that she is so rich in wisdom and just credentialing and anything that you can ask for and more. So what you think you're going to be getting and wanting, I want you to think of Kim Thomas, and I want you to add and more, because that's what you're going to be getting with Kim. And especially with her new book, Me, Myself, and You. So the launch author reveal, not review, is something that is brand new. You guys are like the early adopters. You know, you're the true hard and fast book lovers that are coming in. Do us a favor. Tell people about this, because one, you get to meet great authors. You get great information on, you know, books that are brand new, books that are already in market, that are awesome reads that maybe you haven't heard of. But most importantly, you're getting into the heart of the author, and you're going to understand why they wrote what they wrote, and also to fall in love with them like I do. And on top of that, we're giving you free books. So, you know, not only are you getting all this great information on the launch author reveal, you're getting access to free books. So please, please, please share this, comment it, on it, whatever you need to do, put it out on social media. This will also be posted up on Michelle Chudy Enterprises Facebook page, which is my business page. And then comment it, share, tell people about it, because be kind to your friends. Let them in on the free books too. There's enough for everyone to go around. So you're never going to know what you're going to get with these reveals. Sometimes we're giving free downloads. Sometimes we're putting you into drawings so you get gift sets. Billy Joe was on Monday and gave this fantastic offer away for a gift set of some of her previous works, but they were a nice set. And Kim is so gracious with her #1 best-selling book. It just released, and she's still giving it away for free. So that being said, tell people about the Launch Author Reveal. It's fantastic. And if you're an author, I would love, love, love to help you promote your book and brand. If you're interested on being revealed like Kim and also like Billy Joe and the upcoming authors, reach out to www.launchauthorreveal.com and just, tell me what you want to do, and then we'll go from there. All I'm looking for is someone that is writing edifying, uplifting, or educational books. That's all you have to have. So that being said,
let me interrupt you just a minute, Michelle, please.
Yes, ma'am.
So you asked me what you're good at, and you're good at digging into the heart, but the professionalism is phenomenal, just phenomenal. You just can't imagine. She can just do so many things at the same time. And it's just amazing to watch her, because she can work the question Q&A, she can work, if the dog walks through, she's fine. She just acknowledges it. And it's just so much fun, because she's real life, but very professional, and will get you out there in public eye. I love it. Love it.
Thank you, Kim.
And also want to say, praise God. Anything good in me that you see is God himself, just calming me down and pulling himself out. So I just want to praise my Lord and Savior Jesus.
Amen. Amen. And myself as well. And we just, we do want to give praise where praise is due. And we wouldn't be here without him. And I just thank the Lord for everything that he's worked in us and through us. And I just thank each and every one of you guys for signing in today. We are at the top of the hour. And I just want to give a shout out again to me, myself, and you. Go help yourself with those irritating people. Go help yourself with those people that you just want to go like this to and say, why don't you want to be like me?
That's right.
So,
true.
Get this book. You're going to love it. Obviously, you can see why I love Kim. She's amazing. She's not only a gifted author, and this is not her first book, by the way. This is going to be the first of many. This was just the first one out the gate. But go in and grab a hold of that book, Me, Myself, and You. Follow Kim on her social media. Kim, where can they find you so they can keep up with you?
It is KimThomas.com. Now, Kim is spelled K, E is in excellent, M is in mighty, KimThomas.com. And you can find me there. And usually I'm Kim Thomas Lutz, and Lutz is Lutz as in zoology. So you can find me just about anywhere with that name.
There you go. So make sure you go in and follow Kim on her social media, and your K stands for keeper. Keeper, excellent, mighty.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And the other thing is, I'm going to start doing a podcast the week after Thanksgiving. And that will be a group of people who come together just to change and to get better and better at what they are.
There you go.
You're welcome.
Make sure you drink from this well, because again, like I said, she runs deep, and she is very rich in what she brings to the table as far as just everything from experience to knowledge to gifting. She's really amazing, and not just on paper, also in person. And if you need help in any transition in life, she focuses on retirees, but again, she's coaching in all age groups. So reach out to her as well. And she can help you in that transition. And again, get her book, Me, Myself, and You. Okay, this is Michelle Chudy. Again, I am glad that y'all came on and watched the Launch Author Reveal. And this is going to be on every Tuesday and Thursday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that being said, just go ahead and block your calendars, because you're going to be meeting great people. You're going to get great books. So there's going to be book giveaways and promotions. There's going to be great backstories, Q&A with the author, ask questions about what you want to know, even more so than what we're, mining out during these reveals. And tune in every Tuesday and Thursday. Sign up on the webinars. They're free. That puts you actually into the promotions. And then, of course, Facebook Live when it works. So it will be on there as well. But you'll always be able to get a hold of these shows as well. But, you want to sign up for the webinars. That way you get access to the promotions and the giveaways that are coming up. So thanks again, Kim, for coming on. God bless you. And thanks for everyone that came into the room to catch this reveal today. You know what? Every life is beautiful and has a story.
Yes.
I want you to tell yours, reveal it, and let your light shine. God bless you all. Have an awesome day, and we'll see you next time on The Reveal, which is Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, where Tammy Coleman will be on talking about Hello is my friend, and it was going to be yours as well. Okay, bye-bye. Catch you next time.
Thanks for joining the Launch Author Reveal with Michelle Chudy. Write a book? Get launched. Head over to launchauthorreveal.com. Every life is a beautiful story. Reveal yours and let it shine.
You could be larger than life.